Okay, so just say hi to me, all right? So I know who you are. And also just want to do a technical check. If you can hear me, you can see me, just type can see and can hear as well, okay? So this is going to be very important because I do not want to have any technical issues later on, okay? Because I want to ensure that you can see me, you can hear me, you can see the slides as well, okay? So I'm just going to share my screen right now. Hey, Andrew, Mary. Wow, there's so many of you. The energy is incredible. How many of you are feeling a bit sleepy right now? Because it's the afternoon, right? Didn't expect so many of you to feel so energetic, but it's incredible, okay? If there's one word that could describe you, your feeling, your mood today, right now, what would be a word to describe? Are you feeling tired? Are you feeling excited? What are you guys feeling, okay? So the energy is really incredible in the chat box, okay? And let's begin, all right? So I've been receiving a lot of messages from a lot of people from Instagram, from Facebook, from my messenger as well, about what are some strategies that I use to actually grow my wealth. So today I actually crafted a set of webinar slides. It's a bit different from the usual webinars that I do. And hopefully I believe that today, this afternoon, it can help you to invest better. So the title I have for you tonight is how to achieve the best returns on your portfolio. And if you are ready for me to begin, give me a signal. Just type ready in caps and go all out, and I'll start right now, okay? Okay, David asked whether there's lunch. Okay, so David, if let's say we meet one day, I'll definitely able to treat you lunch. But unfortunately, right now we are doing a virtual webinar, so we can't do that, okay? Yeah, this is live, Christopher. This is absolutely live, all right? So you guys ready? And I'm ready, and let's begin, right? So this is Warren Buffett. At the age of 15, he had $6,000. At the age of 88, he had almost more than $85 billion. And it is true that he's the world's richest investor. And many people are actually focused on what Warren Buffett is investing today, right? For example, he invests in the banks, he invests in this company called Apple. But I realized something, right? Many investors don't really talk about how Warren Buffett started, because that's actually the most important thing that I feel that most people missed out. If you look at here, right, at the age of 19, he had $10,000. At the age of 34, he had $3.4 million. And when he first started out, he was actually investing in using a different strategy. And this strategy is called a growth investing, all right? And he knew that that was the fastest way to grow a big portfolio. So to me, it was very simple, right? Instead of looking at the stocks that he's investing today, why not we look at the stocks that he was investing when his capital size was much smaller, all right? So this is the reason why today I want to share with you this idea about Superstocks, all right? To help you identify better companies so that you can invest in those companies and grow your wealth together, okay? So before I want to move on, I just want to say something. Stop whatever you're doing. If you're using your mobile phones, you're having several tabs on your Chrome browser, I want you to slowly exit out of it and turn your mobile phones to silent mode, right? Because I'll be sharing with you a lot of knowledge. I'll be sharing with you a lot of tips. And if you happen to lose out, right, to miss out, I cannot repeat, okay? And if you're focused today, you're going to take away a lot of things, and you are potentially going to change your investing journey for a long, long time to come. So you may want to open, you may want to have a paper, you may want to have a Word document just to take down and jot down the things that I'll be saying, okay? And today, the content that I'll be sharing with you are all considered paid information. These are the kind of information that people actually paid to learn from me. And guys, you do not know what's in stock for you, because I'm going to share with you a lot of valuable stuff this afternoon, and I'm ready to share. So whenever I do free webinars like this, many people might think, oh, this is not valuable, right? Because this is free. But I want you to know that the content that I'm giving out this afternoon is paid content, and I don't do such sharing often. So if you missed out, that's going to be your loss, okay? And this is also the same kind of knowledge that I use to build my own portfolio. And this year, my portfolio is up over nearly 200%. So some of you may not have a portfolio that's doing well. Then the question is, how can you improve on it? Or if you're already having a good portfolio, how can you make it better? So I'm going to give you the strategies, the knowledge to really equip you to choose good companies for your portfolio and also have a better portfolio as well. Okay, so this guy here is Tambun, right? He runs a business. He's someone that's very busy, doesn't have much time looking at companies, but he decided to come for this same exact workshop. And as a result of taking away the knowledge and implementing it, he bought this company called HemaCare, and he has made about $12,580 US dollars, all right? So this is something that's achievable. This is something that's implementable. It's not just another webinar, but it's a webinar that contains a lot of useful information that you can take back and implement for yourself, okay? And you may be wondering, right, if today you have a negative portfolio, how can this webinar help you this afternoon, all right? I want to share with you, there's a lady who actually came for this virtual workshop as well. And before that, her portfolio was negative 7%. And, when I look at it, I felt that there were certain things that she could change. And I actually told her, there's certain companies that are not really good. There's certain companies that are better. Why don't you make the switch? And as a direct result, her portfolio right now is up about 32%. So I can share with you that, if today you have no experience or have any experience, do not worry, right? All of us are capable of achieving such returns just by having the right knowledge, the right community, and many things are possible. And today, this afternoon, the information that I'll be sharing with you is also the information that I've gathered by traveling to the United States and learning from veteran investors who are managing funds and also from CEOs themselves, all right? And occasionally, I spend my time being on panel discussions with other United States investors so that we can actually learn better and bridge the knowledge across different regions. Okay, so what are your goals this afternoon, right? What are your pain points? What are your difficulties? And what do you want to hope to learn? Okay, just write it down in the chat box and I'll be reading it. Okay, so I'm not sure about you, but here are my goals. I want to share with you and I want to introduce to you this concept called Superstocks and share with you how you can grow your portfolio faster using Superstocks, right? And second is that, it's extremely frustrating to be buying and selling stocks at the wrong timings. And I'll share with you how you can actually avoid making such mistakes, right? These are tuition lessons that you don't have to pay. So I'm going to share with you certain things as well. And finally, you also get to learn certain reasons and certain tactics, right? And strategies on how to separate yourself from mediocre investors. And it has to do a lot with our behavior, right? So I'm going to talk a little bit about it as well, okay? So I just want to clarify one thing. This webinar is only for people who desire to make more money in the stock market using proper techniques. I'm not here to give stock tips, right? Or if you have been sick of losing money in the stock market, right, this webinar is for you. And if you have been trying to read books, online articles, and you are still confused and showing no results, this webinar is for you, all right? So again, this is really, really important. But let me just share again, who is this webinar not for, right? If you are seeking to get a get-rich-quick scheme, right, or you do not believe in learning, or you're afraid of doing, learning new concepts, I can tell you this webinar is not for you, right? The world's richest investor didn't become rich because of stock tips, but it is because of a proven framework that he has, right? So if you want stock tips, sure, I can give it to you, but I think that's going to harm you instead, right? I will share with you, the concepts, the frameworks that actually make you a better investor, right? So I've trained, I've conducted, I've designed this set of slides to help you find the knowledge, the skill sets to become a good investor. So I'm here not to build followers, but I'm here to build competent investors in all of you right now, okay? So people who want to have a possibility of become a full-time investor. So I also want to adjust your expectations tonight, right? I'm not here to give stock tips. I'm here to train you, offer you the skill sets and the knowledge. So if you're here looking for stock tips, I would advise you to maybe leave the webinar right now because this will not fulfill what you want for yourself, okay? And again, I just want to share that how I wish that I could speak to all of you right now and see all of you through the webcam, but unfortunately I can't. But I just want to share that the more you participate, the more you get to learn. And the reason why I want you to participate because I care. I care whether you are learning. So by answering my questions in the chat box, I will know whether you are learning, all right? So I treat this very seriously and I hope that you guys treat yourself seriously as well because I'm putting my 100% in this webinar for you, all right? So before I just talk a little bit about what we're going to do is that I'm going to introduce a little bit about myself, right? So my name is Kelvin Seetoh. I've been a private full-time investor with almost 8 to 9 years of experience by now. This year is year 2020. I'm a founder of Growth Investing Mastery, Asia's largest growth investing community. I've also trained thousands of investors, help them figure out their pain points, help them figure out what were the mistakes that they've done and adjusted their behavior and mindset to be generating profits in the stock market. And I was also formerly an investment analyst working in an investment fund, managing over 8 figures amount, okay? So last year, I published my book together with Jonathan. You guys can see this is a yellow book. It says, expand your circle of competence. So we really felt that when we first started out, there were a lot of struggles that we went through, right? We spent 2 to 3 years trying to figure out investing. or what if we could just write everything down in this book, right? And actually deliver it as a book format for investors like you, right? Wouldn't it be helpful? So while it was tiring, it was difficult, but we pushed through and finally got this out. So we were invited on Money FM, and also there were a lot of supporters who actually managed to buy the book, and many of them actually learned a lot of stuff. So I'm really excited, and I know that this is something that could help a lot of people. So just let me talk about how I started in investing, right? So growing up, I used to watch a lot of people quarrel, including my parents, and a lot of them quarrel because of money. And that made me very upset because I hated seeing people quarrel. And also, because subsequently in secondary school, I went to a well-to-do school, and I saw a lot of my friends who wore branded clothing and enjoyed long overseas holidays during school breaks. And I felt that there was a wealth gap between them and myself, right? And I felt really inferior. And that was when I decided to find various methods to earn extra money. And I remember thinking to myself, if I could make extra money, I could close up the income gap between myself and my peers. And I believe that could be the solution to all my problems, and maybe my family would never quarrel again. So I began by setting a very, very first goal for myself is to do this, right? To stop taking money from my parents, right? Stop taking pocket money from my parents. So I actually stopped taking money from my parents at the age of 19. Okay, so how about you guys, right? At which age do you stop taking money from your parents? Just type in the comment section as well, so that I can get to know a bit about all of you. Okay, so there's a method in this world that allows you to make money without spending money, without scamming money, right? Ethical methods, right, is one way, right? By joining contests, right? So that was what I did, right? Over here, I won a free book. Over here, I won a free, this was a luggage. This is times, a free laptop, watch, ASOS vouchers, right? So when I won a lot of things like that, what I did was I sold all my prize money and I did a business, right? Because back then in secondary school, I saw all my friends wearing branded clothing. I also wanted to do it for myself. So I went to the websites and they were selling clothes in the United States. And I bought a lot of clothes, branded clothing, and I sold it in Singapore. And that was how I started my small business journey, right? And I knew there was a lot of demand, and I started to import it in Singapore and sell it through a lot of forums. So I started flipping branded clothing. You talk about G-Star, Armani Exchange, February, Ralph Lauren. Those are the things that I actually sold. And from there, things went well for a while. And I managed to make quite a little bit of money, right? Close to about 20K thereabouts. But one thing, right, guys, I began to realize that it is not sustainable, right? Because it requires time. I have to meet customers, I have to reply messages, and my studies suffered as a result. Back then, I was a polytechnic student. So this means I have two choices, right? I either choose to focus on my studies or choose to do my business. But I wanted to go uni, I wanted to do well, so I actually decided to focus on my studies. And that killed my only source of income. So after poly, I had to at least into the army. I started serving the army. I had a lot of outfield experiences. I enjoyed it a lot. But sometimes deep in my heart, I felt that that's a bit of waste of my time because I could have spent earning money. But as I go through army, I started to realize that it is really important and there's a lot of pride serving the nation. But it was there where my life changed as well because I met a guy. I mean, my friend, right, a guy, as you know, during army, we probably do not have a lot of time, right, to message our girlfriends or message our family members. We don't have a lot of time. But with that little time that he had, my friend took the time to actually read investment books. And then I got very puzzled and I asked him, Dave, wouldn't you want to sleep more or do anything else? But I said, no, like this is what I want to do. So I got very curious and, I started asking him, right? And he said this, right? A lot of us are very preconditioned to think that the stock market is a risky place, right? If you grow up in a place where everyone lost money in the stock market, you'll think that, hey, the stock market is a gamble. But he was raised in a family that his parents were seasoned investors and taught him the exact frameworks that he needs to learn how to invest. And back then, his wealth was actually growing pretty well, right? One thing that you guys probably do not know about me, I'm naturally quite competitive, right? So I wanted to learn from him. I wanted to know what he's doing. So, but the more I researched into it, the more I actually got obsessed. So I started to actually start investing by myself as well. And what I realized is that, I made certain profits, which I'll share with you later on. But I would think for myself, like never again would I have to wake up early or midway through the night because my customers were messaging me with a lot of message trying to track their orders. And never again would I have to spend hours just trying to travel to a convenient place to meet my customers, right? I traveled through bus. I didn't spend any money on taxi, right? So with investing, I realized I could grow my money financially even at the comfort of my home. So it was becoming crystal clear for me at the age that investing was really important, and I saw how that could help to build my portfolio, okay? So I actually bought this company called Valiance, right? About 100, and I sold it, made about 135%. So at the point, I had a proceed of $74,000. I never expected something amazing, but it happened. And I realized it was because I was doing it with knowledge and I'm not going in with blind faith, right? But initially, I can tell you I was lost, I was frustrated, I was going around clueless, so much information around, and there was no one to guide me. But I discovered a framework together with my friend after years of trials and errors, right? So I was actually happy, and I thought that I was one of the smartest people on the earth, right? Because as an army personnel, I made close to about, in this case, I believe I made about $35,000, and that's a lot of money. How many of you agree? If you agree, just type agree, okay? So I see Elizabeth, all right, 21, Christopher, 20, Mary said 19 years old as well. All right, seems like 19 years old is the age where all of us stop taking pocket money from our parents. That is amazing, all right? Lily says 20, okay? So I felt I was very good, when I made this amount of money, and it was like humble brag for myself. But then, next year, something else happened, I read this story from Brandon, right? And I shared with you this story about Brandon. He was started out with $48,000, and it grew all the way to $147,000. And you see, at the age he was 17 years old, a lot of his friends was using social media, was using Instagram, Snapchat, but for him, he didn't, right? He would try to finish the homework in school so that when he goes home, he could spend time researching companies. And I look at this guy, Brandon, right? Amazing guy, right? I'm really amazed. And I say this, right? If Brandon, who was a guy that's younger than me, could do it, all right? And I wonder, if I could perform the same results as him. What is something that he knows that I do not know, right? So it really inspired me, and it really motivated me. And better in mind, right? I was naturally quite competitive when I was very young. So I said, okay, from 2015 onwards, let's get really serious about investing, because investing really makes money, not just for people like me, but for people like Brandon and for many people out there as well. So this is something that I thought about, right? Then I also read this article, right? This janitor, right, called Roland. By the time he passed away, he had $8 million of fortune to his kids, right? So his kids were very, very lucky, okay? Very, very lucky. But I just want to ask you all a question this afternoon. Do you think a janitor earns a lot of money or very little money? Just type a lot or just type very little, okay? So when I looked at that, it blew my mind. That seemed like phenomenal result, and I thought that was a scam, But when I look at them, I did my research. It was really true, right? Brandon results was true. Roland results was true. And I told myself, if Brandon and this janitor could do it, there must be something that I can do as well. And for me, back then, I was a 23-year-old sitting in front of my screen, and my jaw dropped. For the first time in my life, I asked myself, could I achieve $500,000 by the time I hit 25 years old? As doubtful as you are about me today, I was also doubtful about myself back then. But I gave myself an audacious goal to achieve $500,000 in 2 years. And I said, this is the year I'm going to study, network, and grow tremendously. And I wrote it on a piece of paper, and I kept it in front of me every single day, right? And what I did later on was, I bought a lot of investment books. This is an old photo. My shelf now has way, way more investment books today. Those investment books that were hard to find, it gets me excited, when I'm able to find them and buy them. So, if I spend $30 on a book, right, and whatever I learned from the book could make me 10 times, 30 times my money just by using the knowledge inside the book, is it worthwhile to spend the money, right? Just type yes or no, okay? Money on the book. To me, it's absolutely yes. And I was spending time reading until midnight, watching videos, and I was doing so many things, right? I was paying lunch, right? I would invite investors out, and I'd say, hey, here's what, you teach me, I pay you for your lunch. It was my desire, commitment to become better at it, and certain opportunities actually appeared. So I found this company called Auric Pacific, okay? But before that, all right, I just want to ask you all, do you all prefer Sunshine Bread or Gardenia Bread? Just type Sunshine or just type Gardenia, okay? So I spotted this company, right, called Auric Pacific. It makes Sunshine Bread, Deli France, SCS Butter. When I saw this company, the profits was growing, the cash flow was growing, and this was an amazing company, right? But I was kind of like doubtful about it, right? So I actually went to NTUC, which is a supermarket in Singapore, and I looked at it to see that there are really people buying it. Once I confirmed and I look at the price again of the share price, I thought it was really good price and I decided to buy the company, okay? So I was buying and buying and buying, okay? So over here, when I bought a lot of shares of it and I finally sold it at $1.65, I made over $351,000. But did I hit $500,000? The answer is no. But gradually, I saw myself making that progress, and I really believe that, hey, I'm actually onto certain things, okay? So I sold it at $1.65. Then, okay, the next thing is that I saw this company called Hi-P International. They are actually a parts assembly company, right? They assemble parts for the iPhone. And back then, iPhone was really, really popular. And I saw this company and I said, hey, wait a minute. This company would have a lot of potential, and I know that it's going to make the investors a lot of money. I was really excited, but I also paused myself. I look at the numbers, I look at the cash flow, I look at the debt, I look at the balance sheet. This is a great business, right? And I bought into the business in a very, very big way, okay? So over here, I bought it at 58 cents. Over here, I bought it at 58.5 cents. Over here, I bought it at 58.5 cents again. But when I finally sold all my shares at an average price of 93 cents, 92 cents, right? In total, it was about $100,000. So the deadline was up, right? This is 2017. And I didn't achieve my $500,000 goal that I set myself. But one trick pony, am I a one hit wonder? And again, as doubtful as you are about me, I was also doubtful about myself. $100,000, was it $500,000? The answer is no. But was I upset? The answer is no, because it changed everything for me. It wasn't about the money I have, but it's about the mindset I have. 2 years ago, I was doubtful about myself, but as I embark on this journey, all right, is it lagging right now? Let me just do a check, all right? Gonna off this screen a while. Hey guys, is it lagging? Let me click reconnect. Reconnect screen. Okay, I just want to check. It's okay. It's lagging on and off. Okay. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you guys for your response. It's really, really great. Okay, so let me just go back and share my screen again. Okay. All right, let me go and talk about it again. Okay, great. So let's begin. Let's come back to this. Okay, where was I? that's the funny part, right? Kind of forget where I was saying. Okay, so I can tell you when I achieved this goal, right? It changed everything for me. It wasn't about the money I have, but it is the mindset I have, right? 2 years ago, I was very doubtful, but as I embarked on this journey, I eliminated all my doubts, and I went on with this goal of mine to have $500,000 by the age of 25. But what I realized is this: as I was growing up, I was told many lies by people who are the closest to me. When they say that stock market is risky, but yet I saw a lot of people making money through investing, right? But what I realized as well is that people who made money through investing, it is because they have the knowledge. So it is very important to question those assumptions and those blanket statements, because if we do not question, they form our core beliefs. Okay, let me just try to do something different right now. And Let's hope the software cooperates with us, okay? So just type yes if everything is okay. All right, awesome, Eugene, thank you. Elizabeth, thank you so much. Okay, let's come back to this. So by 2017, I didn't achieve my $500,000 goal, but I was close to $500,000 in net worth, right? Growing up, I had a lot of comparisons done between my friends and I always felt very poor. And I always question myself, I ask, am I a one-trick pony? Am I a one-hit wonder, right? And as doubtful as you are about me, and I ask myself, was I upset? The answer is no. But this changed everything for me, right? When I achieved this changed everything for me. It wasn't about the money I have is to have $500,000 by the age of 25. But as I was growing up, I was told many lies by people who are closest to me. They said that investing is risky, but yet I saw many people making money through investing, right? And it is because they have the knowledge. So it is very important to question the assumptions. When people say that stock market is risky, is it truly risky? Those blanket statements are very, very dangerous, and they form our core beliefs. So I never want you guys to feel negative, but think about what you have and the resources you have. As long as you have a vision, steadiness, and determination, it is possible. So right now, I want to ask this question, right? This is very, very important. Okay, right now, how many of you believe that you could be a millionaire in your lifetime? If that is you, type $sign in the chat box. And I can tell you, most of the time, I predict less than 50% of the room would reply. Okay, how many of you think that you can be a millionaire? Right, type $sign in the chat box, okay? So again, you see, judging by the responses, I can tell you something. What most people lack, all right, what most people do not lack is the knowledge, but what they lack is the self-belief. But once you have the self-belief, many things in your life will change, right? The mindset is very important because if you believe what you believe, then you're going to be who you are. Today, as I visualize my dreams, I will and I can make it happen because this example, this dream of mine is possible and it made it possible. And I told myself, because if Brandon and Janitor could do it, I also believe I could do it. Although I did not hit my $500,000, but is this good enough for me? I would say, yes, this is good enough for me. My mindset was very different already. I wasn't thinking like a flea in a glass jar that couldn't jump out. Because if I know that if there's anything that I want to achieve, it starts with my mind. And I need to believe in myself, and then it will happen in reality, right? How many of you believe what I said just now was very important? Just type yes, all right? I see a lot of $signs. Good for all of you guys. But those of you who do not believe in yourself, the question is why? You know, I'll ask yourself, if you do believe in yourself, what is the downside? There's no downside in believing in yourself. But the moment you believe in yourself, you look yourself in the mirror and you say that you believe in yourself, the upside is tremendous, all right? And I want to tell you something, right? Back then in school, I heard of my friends who went to Japan, who went to Australia, who went to the United States, went to UK, and I have never visited those countries. But today, because of the money I've made, what I did was this, I started traveling to different countries. I traveled to the United States, to different countries. The things that would seem impossible when I was young is possible today. And on top of that, I actually paid expenses for my family to go Australia, right? We went Australia together, all expense paid by myself. And this is the power of investing that I want you to witness, right? Many of you may think, hey, Kelvin, you're super talented. But I don't believe that I'm super talented. I just have this belief and I just go all straight away. Sometimes when you're being too skeptical, it closes you up away from opportunities. For me, I just want to make it work, and it is working for me, right? So I don't want to sound like a broken recorder, but mindset and belief is really, really important. And the media caught on to my story, and I actually went to NTU as a business case study judge, right, with other business leaders, and we are judging students based on the stock ideas as well. I've spoken in front of hundreds of people, and I share my stories, share my experiences as well. So hopefully, this story of mine will inspire you. And I believe, what is the point of sharing my story, you may ask, is that I want you to have the belief that even a person like me speaking to you this afternoon could make it. What are the chances that you can make it in life as well in terms of investing will be extremely, extremely high, right? So you guys can definitely become good. And my philosophy in life is this: the only thing that I absolutely believe in is that to earn more, you must learn more, right? I've never focused on investing in a company just to make like 100K, 200K, no, right? I only focus on the journey, the process, and to acquire knowledge. And that's all I focus. Because once I focus on the process correctly, the money will come later on. But if today you hope to get stock tips, I can do that for you. But I'm not helping you. I'm definitely harming you. I want you to learn how to make multiple returns over your lifetime. So that is more important than just giving you stock tips, all right? Thank you, Christopher, right? To earn more, you must learn more. So sometimes it gets very frustrating for me when I speak to some investors because how I wish I could speak to more investors early on, because I know for sure that you can take some money out of the lousy companies and invest in some companies that will grow faster, right? That is why my topic for this afternoon is how to grow your portfolio faster with Superstocks, okay? How many of you, deep in your heart, you know that you can make more money by selling certain companies in your portfolio and buying into better companies? If that is you, please type 1 in the chat box, okay? So this is secret number 1, how to grow your portfolio faster with Superstocks, okay? So I want to start off with one example. Assuming that company A and company B are the same company, right? Company A is growing at 15% and company B is growing at 5%. I'm going to do a poll right now, right? The poll is coming up right now. Which company would you buy? Would you buy company A or would you buy company B, right? Just go ahead and do the poll right now, okay? And we'll come back to this later on, just assuming that these two companies are the same company, okay? Now, let's move on. See, this is the company, right? Amazon have gone up by 434 times in 18 years, right? 434 times, okay? This is incredible. That means every year you are doing nothing, you are making nearly 40% every year, way higher than the bank interest rate. But what is one of the secret where, allowed Amazon to grow so well? If I want to review to you, I hope that you are actually writing down. If you look at the business today, right? You look at the revenue growth, it has been growing consistently 30 to 40% very, very well, right? So if you choose a company, right, please choose a company with a revenue growth that's more than 30%. This is something that I really, really want you to take down, okay? And also, there's another company called Disney, right? Marvel, they make the Avengers movies, right? Lucasfilm do the Star Wars. Pixar does a lot of animation films. It's a remarkable business, right? Very, very good business. But here's the thing. While it has grown by 111 times in 36 years, average returns about 14%. It's a remarkable business, but right now, Disney and Amazon, they are already so big. So as the business grow bigger, is it harder to grow or is it easier to grow? Please type harder or growing, okay? So the growth rate is actually the revenue growth, and the growth rate is more than 2 to 3 years, okay? So is it harder or is it easier for them to grow right now, okay? So my question is this. My answer is this, right? When they were smaller, they were growing very well. But when it comes to buying company, you have to buy into smaller companies, because how else are you going to make 80 to 90% returns every year? It's going to be very, very hard. And when I look back at Disney and Amazon, they were once small companies. But today, they are no longer small. They are quite big already. They are multi-billion market cap. They are really, really big companies, okay? Wow, I love you guys. You guys are good, right? I love the responses. Definitely, it's going to be a lot harder, right? So no one really knew that these companies existed, right? Perhaps people know about Amazon, know about Disney, but they never really knew them as listed companies, right? And decades ago, I can tell you these were exactly the kind of companies that you need to invest, because if you are doing what everyone is doing, you are going to get the same results like everyone else gets, right? Is it true, right? And if you are looking at companies that no one is looking, you are going to get different results. So do what others people are not doing. So this may sound unorthodox, this may sound unconventional, but this is exactly what gave me the results that I have and the results that all my friends are currently having right now. And I wondered whether it is luck, right? And I look back and I look for a pattern, right? And I actually saw a pattern, right? I actually realized that these are companies with huge revenue growth, right? You look at companies like Good Food, you look at companies like Expel, you look at companies like Celsius, Simon Scientific, these are the companies with very, very high growth rate. And I realized that no one is teaching this out there. Although it sounds really simple, but I realized that this is one of the best kept secret. And this was exactly what Warren Buffett did when he was young, right? He taught a few students and it worked really, really well. So this is what I call Superstocks. And I really, really want you to take that down, right? These are Superstocks. And today, this afternoon, I actually wanted to buy Starbucks, but I did not buy. But I can tell you, I love Starbucks and I can't help but to bring this example up right now. Given what you know right now, would you invest in Starbucks today or would you invest in Starbucks 20 years ago, right? Type 20 years ago or type today, okay? So I'm going to drink some water right now. Okay, so yes, I'm so happy you guys are getting it. Get into Superstocks, right? Companies that are really big, it's going to be really, really hard. You want to get companies that are small, and these are called Superstocks. right? Jane, correct. Wilson, right? David, Jason, Valerie, awesome. So let's come back to this, right? If you look at the poll right now, 94% of you state that you want to buy the company A. Company B, 5% of you voted for it. Okay, so let me review to you the answer. The answer is neither. Everyone, listen up, right? You have the privilege as an investor to invest in so many companies across the world. Why do you give yourself such a low criteria? 5%, 15%, they do not meet the cut, right? You see, a lot of us, we get confused by choose what companies to buy. The reason is because people do not know. People don't have a framework, right? If you don't have a framework, you're just going to buy any company. But once you have a framework, you're going to tighten your criteria. Because if you're going to filter companies with more than revenue growth of 30%, they're just going to be a very, very few companies. And when you have a very few companies, it's easier to find good companies, right? It's always quality over quantity. A company that's growing at 15% is simply not good enough. Type not good enough, all right? A company that's growing at 15% is not good enough, okay? So you see, if a company that is not growing at 30%, right, why should you spend your time investing in those companies, right? Minimally, revenue growth more than 30%. Ufi, you ask whether it's high risk. I would say if you invest in companies that are not growing, it's higher risk. Because companies that grow faster, the value is actually increasing. So it's actually lower risk, okay? So I want to define to you what Superstocks as well, right? Superstocks are multi-baggers. Their revenue grow at rapid rate, and these are very exceptional companies that is very hard to find in the stock market, right? So for example, if you bought a company at $1 and the share price goes up to $5, right? The returns is 500%, right? This is called a five-bagger. If you buy a company that's at $30 and it goes up to $300, that means this company has grown by 1,000%. That means it's called a 10-bagger. So you may be wondering to yourself, how do I find all these 10 baggers? And is it true that companies that are growing at 30% are considered good companies? Well, let me just share with you this identity management company. You can see from 2016 to 2020, the revenue has been growing steadily. In fact, at a very rapid revenue growth. In fact, in this year, 2020, it's still growing at 46.8%. So it is a fast grower, it's a super stock. So this company is none other than Okta, right? Today, as your passwords gets even more complex, you need an identity management company to resolve that, right? So this company is called Okta. So I hope that by now, this gives you the belief that there are companies that are growing at more than 30% out there, right? You just need to widen your net and not just look at Singapore, Malaysia companies. So you can see that this is a very logical and rational process. And let me just give you an analogy, right? Imagine you are earning more and more money every single year. Wouldn't your net worth go up, right? And this is the same for companies. As they earn more revenue, they will actually be worth more, right? Does it make sense? Okay. And today I want to share with you this company called Hypebeast. You can see from 2015 to 2018, the earnings were actually growing quite rapidly. And if you ask any top investors out there or any hedge fund managers, do they know Hypebeast? The answer is no, because they can only invest in big companies. They cannot invest in small companies. But if you practice growth investing, if you choose super stocks, you are likely to find this company called Hypebeast, right? And as you can see, the earnings of the business is actually growing, right? And if the business is growing, I can tell you this business is going to be worth more over time. And the only direction for the share price is up over the long run. And because of that conviction, I actually bought a lot of shares in this company. I bought 29.5 cents. I bought at about 36 cents. I bought about 40 cents. I bought about 61 cents. I was just like buying really a lot, right? So I purchased about close to 3 million shares at an average price of about 34.5 Hong Kong dollar cents, close to about 200K in Singapore dollars, right? So this was the result, right? Bought it at about 27 cents, 40 cents, and it kind of moved to about $1, right? So this is the part where when you see growth stocks, you must embrace it. You must understand why they are growing so quickly, right? And so if today you are buying into companies that do not have high growth, you may want to reconsider and ask yourself, why are you holding on to those companies? Are these the best companies that you can invest in? Or can you actually invest in better companies, okay? Okay, so I also want to share with you that this kind of knowledge that I shared, it doesn't just work for me, but it will work for many, many people, right? So these are people who have actually gotten great results as well through using that, okay? So Lo asked, is Okta still a loss-making company? The answer is yes, they are loss-making, but there's a reason why they are loss-making. And if they want to be profitable anytime, they can be profitable anytime, okay? So with that, I also want to share with you the second secret over here. How many of you have experienced buying and selling companies at the wrong timing? Just type yes in the chat box, okay? So this is one of the pain points, like when you buy and sell companies at the wrong timing, it is really, really very frustrating, okay? How many of you have experienced it before? Just type yes in the chat box, okay? So my topic my content for secret number 2 is really to help. How do you stop yourself from buying and selling at the wrong timing? So I want to bring back this example. IP International is actually the phone assembly company, right? It assembles parts for iPhone. And you can see by the time I sold all my shares, the proceeds was about $100,000. But what I want to share with you as well is I sold it at 92 cents, and 3 months later, it went up to $1.98, right? It means if I sold it 3 months later, I would have $430,000 more. And to me, I felt like it cost me a lot of money, and I felt like, it hurts me because I did not have the patience. What if I could have waited 3 months later? So I felt like I made a big mistake of my life, and I just couldn't forgive myself, right? Why was I so impatient, right? Because you see, if I sold it 3 months later, can I actually take the extra money, buy a public apartment for my family members, for my parents, and actually rent it out so that my parents don't have to work anymore? Is it possible? Yes or no? Just type in the chat box. And my heart just hurts a lot, and I feel like, if any one of you have a time machine, I can sponsor all of you to a holiday destination you want, as long as you give me a time machine. But the thing is this, right? I can't erase the past, but I can only build the future. It took me about 3 to 6 months to just get over it. And I can tell you, I can teach you the numbers, I can teach you the strategy today, but I also want to share with you my personal story, right? And the reason why I want to share with you how do you avoid buying and selling at the wrong timing is precisely this painful lesson that I have for myself. So last time I also didn't have a community when I made this mistake. So I really say that, if imagine you have people that could cut you, your life would be very, very different. So I also want to share with you that over the years, you have probably seen some companies that have done very well, like Google, like Amazon, some companies that haven't done well, like Singapore Airlines and StarHub. But I'm pretty sure that you guys have been in such situations before. How many of you wish that you sold certain stocks early on before it fell? Okay, if that's you, just type me. Or you regretted not holding on to some stocks and after you have sold, the stock went up, right? So these are actually very, very painful lessons. And if you wonder whether there could be a method to minimize your mistakes, honestly, look at myself. If I waited 3 months later, I would have earned a lot more. So the price to pay for the wrong timing is actually very, very high, all right? It's very, very high. So to actually overcome that, I want to share with you today this POS framework, okay? So first, isn't it important to have personal conviction in anything that you do in life? And what more, the companies that you buy in the stock market? You need to know why you are buying the stock, what you like about the stock, why do you think it will do well over time. Once you have personal conviction, I can tell you, nothing is going to create fear in you anymore. For example, if I know that Microsoft is a good company, their products is going to do well, their earnings is going to go up, do you think that I will be shaken when the share price drop temporarily? What do you think? Just type yes or no in the comments. And I can tell you, you guys are doing absolutely amazing. Although I can't see all of you, I can feel the energy in the chat box. Alan, Wilson, Jason, Valerie, Lo, thank you, you guys, right? You guys are amazing, okay? Okay, versus, right, scenario 2. If I'm buying a company just because somebody says so, and when the share price drop, I will be really, really anxious about it. So at the end of the day, why do people buy and sell at the wrong timing? It is because of one reason. They do not have personal conviction. They do not have a deep understanding behind the company that they're buying and whether the business is growing or not. So you see this company called Riverstone. It makes gloves, right? And actually this lady called Hajit bought this company called Riverstone. And she's shared about this, right? The most valuable lesson she have learned is to have the courage to hold on to winning stocks because of your strong conviction. I can tell you, if you do not have conviction behind what you do, you would not know when to hold on to your stocks. Every single time you make 5 to 10%, 20%, you just sell your stocks away. If you keep doing that, you can never be wealthy over time. And which is why the key is to have conviction in whatever you do in life and in investing as well. And the second thing is this, right? When it comes to investing, unfortunately, right, it is not the case whereby you can just go solo and be successful. Why? Because we make mistakes in our lives. And there are certainly blind spots where we don't see our own mistakes, right? So to be successful in investing, you need an environment. Do you know there's a quote that goes something like this, right? Environment is the strongest force for change. Find an investing community and be part of it, right? If you don't find people to exchange ideas, that could be something very dangerous. It's just like driving, right? You need a passenger that's beside you to check your blind spot when you're parking and to help you figure out where you're heading when it comes to every investing decision you make. So you choose to be vulnerable and ask for opinions. You will realize you can avoid buying and selling companies at the wrong timing. See, every time when I buy or sell a company, right, I would have 5-6 good investors that I ask questions, right? And you know, we talk about it a lot of times, right? So when you make decisions, it's not based on your own thinking, but you ask for opinions from many, many people, right? So you can minimize your mistakes very, very well, and you can buy and sell at better timings, right? So once again, what you really need is your personal conviction, and you need a strong environment, and you will absolutely minimize your mistakes to a large degree. So this is my group of investors. We cross-check ideas openly. We check our blind spots for each other. I really enjoy the interactions with them because they are from different industries. They are lawyers, they are doctors, they are engineering staff, they are software people, security as well, a lot of different people. So I'm not asking you to join my community, but you have to at least join one investing community. It is very important for you to exchange ideas with other investors. So yeah, so I want to talk about this guy, right? This is amazing young chap. He's 24 years old. He's a regular working for the Air Force. He didn't have a finance background. But the thing about him, he's so driven. He does not worry about looking stupid or worried that people might hate him because he's successful. He goes out there to ask questions. He will always have a beginner mindset despite his success. And he keeps learning and learning and learning and absorbing knowledge from everyone. So as you can see, right, environment was the factor that helped him generate a lot of returns. And I do not know about you guys, but this is absolutely amazing. He avoided making mistakes that could cost him more than $10,000. And this year he bought this company called Zuno, which makes antibacterial hand wash. And that company, for instance, have gone up a lot. And he's just 24 years old, right, this year. So I cannot think of anyone who does it like him. But just imagine if you're surrounded by people who are kind, who are helpful, who are driven, how else can you not benefit, right? So today, Joseph has more than $100,000 and is looking to grow his portfolio even further using Superstocks. And also, I can tell you, right, I have a friend called Terrence. He bought this company called Ehai. Ehai make the soap base for Hai Di Lao. So Hai Di Lao is growing well. Ehai is still growing along the way as well. At the point when Ehai was $50, do you know that Terrence wanted to sell the stock? But when Terrence came to me, you know, I said, okay, wait a minute, Terrence. Let me look at the numbers. Let me look at the business. Let me look at the valuations. I said, wait a minute, Terrence. This company is still doing quite well. Why do you want to sell it? And because of that, he actually held on to the company, right? And as a result, he had made a lot more money, and the money actually could actually help him to actually pay for his wedding expenses as well. And just a couple of months ago, Terrence messaged me again and said that, you know, he got another 3-bagger. That means he made 300% in this company, right? Called Digital Turbine. So this is why finding a community to check and validate your ideas is very important. We tend to be biased emotionally and we stop being logical, right? I'll give you an example, right? This afternoon, when you see a handsome guy, when you see a pretty lady, sometimes you'll fall madly in love with them, you know, right? And then the person could be making use of you. You may not even know that, right? But you need a third party to inform you. You need your friends to know the person, right? And so sometimes we forget our blind spots. Your money is hard-earned. You need someone to check your blind spots and help you achieve very amazing returns. So how do you prevent yourself from buying and selling at the wrong timings? Actually, if people say, oh, you have a software that can do that, I can tell you, I may not be inclined to think about it that way. But I think through people, through experience, through going through things in a community fashion, I think that would be a more sustainable and a more accurate manner, okay? So let's move on to secret number 3, right? I can tell you this, right? I always wanted to separate. I want to always feel like I can be a better investor, but I was performing like a mediocre investor. So I realized there's certain mindset shifts that I made for myself that actually helped me to have better results, right? So this is really important. I can tell you this is something that not many people know of, but I'm prepared to review to you because you came for this webinar this afternoon. So if you want to know it, please type yes, all right? If I see the yeses, and I'll go on to share with you what I'm going to share with you this afternoon, okay? Okay, very nice. So let's move on, okay? When I was young, I met this guy called Jim Rogers. He's a multi-billionaire, has a lot of money. In the army, I paid money to cab down to the venue to meet him. And he said something, right? If you want to be financially free, you got to focus on the returns. Are you growing your wealth at 20% or are you growing your wealth at 30%? Look, right? Listen up, everyone. All right. If I have $1 million and you invest it at year 0 and you grow it at 20% every year, right? 1 million, grow it at 20% for 10 years, you will become $6.2 million. The same $1 million you invest for 10 years at 30% returns, that will become $13.8 million. So the difference is actually 2.2 times. So you can see that, just a 10% difference in the returns, right? You get a 2.2 times more returns, and it is huge. So I realized that I wasn't achieving many returns. I wasn't achieving this kind of returns like many investors out there. So when I first started out, you see, this was my track record in 2013, right? I was making money here, I was losing money there, and it was extremely frustrating. There were days where I bought stocks only to see it drop by 5 to 10% the next day. I was really, really lost. I kid you not, I was lost, I was stuck for a while until I figured out a framework and having the right conviction and the proper behavior in the stock market. And I realized that I could do better and I wanted more. And I always tell myself, even if Buffett was growing his wealth at 20% every year, I can. Does it mean that I cannot do better, right? I did not want to limit myself. So as I reflected back, I realized that there were a few basics that were made by many people, including me, right? You are buying into companies based on stories. You don't have real facts to back up your ideas, right? You don't have a portfolio, or you are a blind follower. You follow what people buy, or you are being too affected by the media, right? And the market movements. And this is the one biggest reason that caused people to not have good results in the stock market, right? And let me just elaborate a little bit more on this topic, right? You can see that in the world, we had a lot of problems, but let me just talk about this, right? This is S&P 500, meaning the top 500 companies in the United States put together in a basket. And when you see the chart going up, means that the 500 companies are actually doing well on the average, right? So the last few years, right, last few decades, we have Iran war, we have Y2K, we have recession, we have 911, we have bank crisis, we have Europe debt crisis, we have deficit, we have interest rate increasing. We have so many problems in the world. Despite looking at all this, right, I can tell you the chart index has gone nowhere but up. At the end of the day, temporary setbacks are okay as long as the companies are growing their profits, right? You see, a lot of us may think that COVID-19 is such a serious issue. Yes, I do not want to downplay the seriousness of COVID-19, but I also want to share with you that we have SARS, we have dengue fever, we have swine flu, we have MERS, we have Ebola. I don't really think that COVID-19 is a long-term concern because humans will always prevail in the long term. Humans will always prevail. The index will always go up. So if you're not investing in Superstocks, but you're buying into lousy companies today, it is going to be very, very miserable, right? But I can tell you, the world is not coming to an end. The world is going to find its way back up. So while we know that the economy is weakening right now, we should see it as an opportunity. And because we are investors, how many times in our lifetime do we see such amazing opportunity? Not a lot. You have to have the courage to buy stocks. And I can tell you, most people lose money because when the stock market drops, they panic because they're looking at the share price alone. But today, as you learn what I shared with you, if you focus on the revenue growth, I can tell you, your results will be very, very different. Your conviction will also be very, very different. So as long as the company is growing very well, how can their share price remain low for a long time? It can remain low in the short term, but in the long term, it definitely will grow, right? But if you're focusing on all the negative news, I can tell you it's very irrelevant, okay? So I also want to share with you something over here. So let's say this is Henry, right? It's a driver, right? Henry wants to drive to this place called Yosemite Park, right? And this is about 300 km distance. They say that, okay, I want to wait for the perfect weather. There's no rain, no traffic light, no cars on the road. Everything is perfect. Then I start driving, okay? That's Henry, we have another driver called Cindy. Cindy said that, I know there will be rain, I know there will be bumps, I know there will be traffic jams, I know there will be a lot of problems that will happen as I drive. But despite that, I will still drive, So I want to ask you a question. Who do you think will reach the destination first? Is it Henry or is it Cindy? All right. just do the poll. You can just choose Henry or Cindy, okay? So I'm going to give you guys a while to actually respond, all right? Let me just publish it right now, okay? All right, you can vote right now. So vote and let me know, okay? Okay? Okay, so a lot of you voted Cindy. Exactly, right? I feel that for mediocre investors, they're obsessed with the news and the media every day. They're always waiting for the perfect stock market. But the truth is that the stock market, the perfect stock market does not exist. So while you are waiting, you are going to lose out on good opportunities. So why don't ignore the market, ignore the media, focus on buying good companies and being long-term in your approach. And this is exactly what top investors are doing. They're always focusing on the business and whether the business is growing instead of being so obsessed over the news and the stock market weather. See, at the end of the day, if the business is growing, who cares if the stock market crash? Over time, the share price will recover. But if you're always waiting for the perfect weather, then you are going to lose out on a lot of opportunities. And even when you say that, oh, once the weather is over, I start driving, you are still so far behind, right? So really, at the end of the day, if you look at the earnings growth, you look at the revenue growth, that is going to help you tremendously. And you see, the last 5 years, there are a lot of hiccups in the stock market, a lot of hiccups, a lot of speed bumps. But the stock market continues to move along. But you tell yourself you are waiting for the perfect environment to start investing, I can tell you, you are going to miss a lot of opportunities, okay? You're going to miss a lot of opportunities. So I also want to tell you a well-known secret among great investors, but it's unknown to the public. And this has been kept a secret for a long time because there are a group of people that do not want you to know about this secret. So if you want to be a great investor, you really have to listen up this afternoon. I'm talking about the mass media. They purposely are created to confuse the hell out of you and make investing really scary and make investing really difficult. But are they always right? Let's take a look, right? So these are what the newspaper are saying, right? The next step is uncertain, no end in sight. They make it seem like the world is coming to an end. And you see, you want to know who is the worst person you can take advice from? It's the media, it's the news, right? They make a living by creating drama and by creating attention. That's how they make money. So when the stock market is up, they tell you don't miss the boat, right? When the stock market is down, they'll tell you don't buy the stocks. When it's convenient to say anything, they are not saying anything at all. In fact, most people are glued to the news. They are being manipulated by the media, right? Media do not help investors make money and they are not aligned to your interests. The best person to trust is to yourself and your knowledge. At the end of the day, no one cares more about you than your money, right? This is so important. You see this. Oxford say that the financial analysts are clueless, right? Over here, they say that Wall Street analysts are embarrassingly bad at predicting the future. The economists say that equity research is consistently wrong. So these are the facts, everyone. The media is creating headlines for you to actually, read their articles. But do they really help you to make money? The answer is no, right? So I want to give you an example here. Today, you bought a goose that is $10,000, right? All right, this goose is $10,000, and this goose lays an egg, and this egg is worth $5,000 in year one, and it will appreciate, it will go to $5,500 in year two, and year three will be $6,000. But today, because of an incident, a bird flu, now your goose actually dropped to $5,000. It was worth $10,000, but right now it's worth $5,000 because of bird flu. How many of you would sell your goose away? Or what would you do? Right? Type it in the chat box right now. What would you do? Okay? Would you sell your goose? Would you keep your goose? Would you buy more goose? Okay? I'm looking at the comment section right now. Most of you said no. And I can understand why. Because the reason is very clear, is that you know that this goose lays a valuable egg. And after the bird flu is going over, the prices are going to go back up. This is very similar to investing in companies. Companies report earnings, company reports revenue. There are moments whereby the stock price may drop, but if the company is earning more money, that is not a danger sign. That is an opportunity that's given to you, and you must be able to recognize that. I want to share with you an example over here. So on the top, you can see this is Apple share price from 2008 to 2012. Bottom is the amount of money that they made from 2008 all the way to 2011. See, back then, if I purchased Apple stock and it fell by 50%, I will be really, really worried. I would have sold the stock immediately out of panic and fear, and I would realize my loss and I would feel very upset. Then, I'll be just behaving like most investors out there, feeling lost and always suffering from losses. But to change the way I think, first I need to change my behavior, right? You look at here, Apple share price actually dropped by 50%. But if all of us choose to focus at looking at the earnings, right? In 2008, they earned about $8 billion. In 2010, they earned about $18 billion. So the facts are there, right? The companies are actually earning more money. So when it happened during the recession, why should anyone worry at all, right? So most people lose money is because of themselves and their own behavior. It is not the stock market to blame, right? It is because they are not looking at the revenue growth, they are not looking at the earnings growth of the business. So what I realized, something that's even more important than the share price is the revenue growth and the earnings of the company, okay? So I want to tell you that, when you see events like that, this means that the stock market is being irrational, and this situation is not a situation for you or I to be fearful. Instead, we should see this as an opportunity to buy more shares, just like how many of you are typing that you want to buy more goods. It's the same story, same analogy. This is because the business is mispriced, right? Just imagine something. If all of you have a watch, maybe a Rolex watch that's worth $20,000, if in your heart you know that this watch is worth $20,000, but if one day someone asks and tell you, hey, this watch is worth $5,000 right now, would you sell to that guy? The answer is no. So understand this and apply it to the companies that are investing in as well. This is McDonald's, right? During recession, the McDonald's share price dropped as well. But McDonald's have been earning more and more money. We still eat during recession. In fact, during recession, we may eat even more. So whatever I said so far, I just want to ask a question this afternoon. Does it make sense, everyone? Right? And I really love the energy and really keep it up, right? But really, does it make sense, whatever I share with you? Is it logical? Is it understandable? Okay? So to demonstrate the power of Superstocks and having the upside of having a community and having the right mindset, separating myself from other investors, what I did was in 2019, I started a portfolio, right? Called the Hedgehog portfolio. Because many people said, Kelvin, you're doing very well because your portfolio is huge. Then I decided to do something different. I created a small account with a very small amount to demonstrate that even a small portfolio could grow over time. It's not about the size, but it's not about the size of your portfolio today. It's about the rate of growth that you're experiencing, right? Whether you're buying into growth companies. So I want to document it now, and I can share with you that this is an article in September, in December, in March, in May, right? And the source of my funding is my savings and a big portion of my salary, okay? So this is really very possible for everyone. So this is the portfolio in August. You can see that when COVID-19 happened, right, my portfolio was down, it was negative. But what I do I cry? Do I feel sad? Do I sell my stocks? The answer is no. I spend my time understanding whether these businesses are good businesses, then I buy more of the companies, right? So I can tell you the reason for my performance is because of the fact that I bought into Superstocks, right? So remember the example of Cindy and Henry who are trying to reach the destination? I know I cannot control the weather. You know that you cannot control the weather, but you can control your speed, you can control the car, right? So those are the two things that you can control. And once you are controlling that, I can tell you, you're going to do very well, okay? So this is the money I injected, and this is currently the performance of the portfolio, okay? About 200% thereabouts. So I want to tell you something. There's only one reason why many people remain as mediocre investors, and this is who we do not want to be, right? Number one, you have no idea about what you're doing, right? And so you need two things, right? One is the PS framework, which is a personal conviction. You need to have a strong environment. I think those are things that are going to help you a lot. And finally, you need a proper investing framework. When you choose companies to buy, are you just going to buy any company, or do you have a criteria where you choose companies to buy? These are the questions that are going to determine whether you're going to be a good investor or you are going to stay where you are today. So the stock market is irrational at times, but you don't have to be irrational. You can control what you want to buy. You can control how you want to behave in the stock market. So it's your behavior that matters, not the stock market, right? So this is really, really important. But the truth is this, right? I remember 8 years ago when I first started out investing, I felt overwhelmed, but I don't want all of you guys to feel overwhelmed because obviously we have covered quite a little bit up to this point because I only have an hour and a half to share with you guys the process. But the truth is this, right? No one says that you have to do it alone. You can join any community because any community is better than having no community, right? I have my own investing community as well, but I do not want to end this webinar leaving you guys hanging. I want you guys to have options, right? So if you have two options, option number one is to take whatever I share with you and execute on your own. That's perfectly fine, right? The second option is to join an investing experienced community who is able to guide you, support you, and nurture you into a better investor, okay? So I want to share that what I want to share today, it's over, it's done. In the second part, I want to share how you can join a community that I've created. Again, I want to tell you that it's optional. If some of you have actually believed that you have learned what you want from this webinar right away, you may exit out of this webinar. But for the rest of you, I'm going to give about 5 to 10 seconds for you to decide. I'll be sharing a program that I've created together with my partner called Jonathan, and I want to share with you that this is totally optional, right? So I'm going to give you guys about 5 to 10 seconds to decide, okay? Okay, Andrew, I will answer your question later on. Okay, so let's begin, right? So what I want to share to you is that we have created a training program called the Growth Investing Masterclass. This course is designed by Jonathan and myself, whereby we took 10 years of our investing experience, a lot of money that we invested in investing books, courses, air travel tickets to investing conferences, and we actually want to design this program to our standards, right? The reason is very simple. When we started out, do you know how frustrating it was for us? There wasn't a training program that could have saved us years of figuring out how to invest alone. We tried watching YouTube videos, we read articles. We also realized there are a few things that could only be learned through experience. So when we want to create our masterclass, we believe that we should never just teach theory, but we also want to teach the practical stuff, things that really work for many investors. So we're going to spend 3 days. You can see these are the dates to guide people who are interested on the exact procedures on how to select Superstocks together. We're going to deconstruct what makes the company share price move, crack the code together, and the heavy work of identifying what's important has already been done. Okay, but again, this course is not suitable for everyone. We do not accept people who just want stock tips. I mean, if you are looking for stock tips alone, we can do that, but we prefer to teach you the knowledge, the skill sets, all right, to give you that foundation so that when you invest alone, you can do it equally well too, right? So if you have a sincere desire to learn the knowledge, the skill sets to become a good investor, this is for you. Or if you have a low capital, I also want to be upfront to tell you that the program may not be suitable for you, because after you learn and you have no capital to start, it's going to be very difficult for you to see the returns. Preferably, you should have more than $3,000 or above, okay? So this is something I want to tell you. And also, because of COVID-19, unfortunately, we cannot do physical classes anymore, but we have replicated everything that from our physical classes to the online world using Zoom sessions. So it's going to be highly interactive. In fact, some of our members enjoy it even more from the comfort of their homes. It's going to be very interactive. It's not going to be a dull, boring sharing session, okay? It's going to be very interactive. You get to have breakout rooms, get to chit-chat with other investors as well. So this is suitable for you even if you have zero finance background, and we strongly recommend you to actually come for this live 3 days masterclass so that it can help you get started, all right? And on top of that, we'll provide you unlimited receipts for the live masterclass, and we'll stream it live every 2 to 3 months as well. So what will you be covering, right? All right, so on day one, we'll share how we simplify financial statements. So we are not going to teach you like we are not going to transform you to be an accountant. We're going to teach you how to become a good investor. So there are certain ways where we share how we look at numbers is actually very different from how you understand it from outside, from online articles. We're going to share it from a practitioner point of view, from an investor point of view, right? So that's day one. On day two, we share with you our proprietary framework called the PAX framework. And we also want to share with you the psychic of a full-time investor. Because what we realize is that mindset, behavior, and how you react towards stock price movements are actually very important. We're going to share with you useful ways to differentiate excellent management from poor management. And ultimately, we like to piece everything together to teach you how to search for high growth companies and teach you how to assess a company from scratch. So we're going to teach you how to do everything, the entire process, so that you can develop true confidence in what you do as well. So this is what we're going to cover in day one and day two and day three. So I want to share you the story of Gladys. Previously, she was investing in just Singapore companies, but she knew that this is something that she has to change. So in our masterclass, we are mainly talking about United States companies as well. Her goal is to cover back her cost fees and to become a full-time investor as well. So I want to share with you that within our community, we have a lot of mummies who are full-time investors. So for the ladies, do not worry, we have quite a good well mix of females and males as well. Right? So for her, she bought this company called C Limited. About average price about $46. That's where we shared it last year. And currently the company is up about quite a little bit. Currently the share price is about $172 and it's still growing really well. Okay, so this is Cynthia. She's one of our community members who have gone through the masterclass. She's 26 years old, right? Working in a civil servant. To her, time is very precious, and instead of spending 6 to 7 years figuring out how to invest properly, she decided to attend our virtual masterclass. And over here, she shared about her experience. And Cynthia is able to use our Superstocks method to invest in a less risky way with proper research. And since then, in a period of 1 year, she was able to get a return of 56% on her portfolio. And she achieved this even though when she first started, she has no finance background and thought that investing was going to be really hard. So this is the kind of transformation that you'll see for yourself when you join us. So what you're going to get is that you're going to get a Growth Investing Live Masterclass, a total value of $3,500. But you might be thinking, after I've attended a masterclass, what are some tools that I can use to help myself figure out whether the company is a super stock and whether the price is reasonable? Well, what we want to share with you is the growth investing tools. The first one we want to share with you is the growth profit calculator. It really took us 6 months to design this calculator on Excel, and we backtested it over 500 companies so that by using this, you're able to tell whether this company is good or bad, whether this company is cheap or expensive. You're not going to scramble everywhere and be clueless. In fact, you're able to zero down into the important factors to decide whether this company is really a good company or just a lousy company. So you're going to save your time, you're going to save the money, right? Because you're able to use this, you're going to find a price that allows you to actually buy the company, right? So I want to share with you a story about one of our members, Clara, who actually profited a lot through using our calculator on this company called Microsoft. Over here, you can see she bought Microsoft at $144. She's up about 57% on this position. And in this trade, she made about $1,100 US dollar, which is roughly about 1,500 Singapore dollars. So this is what Clara said about the dream calculator, right? She was able to use the dream calculator to have confidence to buy Microsoft. And in just 2 months, she has about a return of investment about 7%, made about 1,100 US dollars. So just imagine if you grab your hands on this calculator and learn how to value companies as well. How much would it be worth to you, right? So to Clara, this is worth about 1,500 US Sing dollars, okay? So we also provide you step-by-step videos to guide you where to plug the information, how to fill it out, so that you know exactly how to use the growth profit calculator with confidence. So these are really the things that we create with our heart, with our devotion, and we are imparting to you guys so that we really hope that this can benefit you. Right, so what can you get rid of? Potential losses in the stock market, hours of analyzing companies alone, investment news subscription, right? Investment advisors, banker fees, and so much more. The average member in our community saves over $4,000 in subscription and also avoiding mistakes in the stock market. So you really can see how valuable it is. So what you're going to get is a Growth Investing Live Masterclass, the Growth Profit Calculator. But now you might be thinking, you have learned the proven framework, you have the calculator, what else do you need? You need a list of super stocks. And this is why we are going to provide you a super stocks shopping list. Sometimes you feel that life is unfair. The rich seems to have more advantage because they have access to special deals. That is very true in the investing world as well. Some investors have softwares that can actually help them, all right? This dream framework that we are providing you, that we are teaching you, all right, cannot be used on any free stock screener software that you can find online. This screener that we use is a sophisticated one that's hidden away from the retail investors, and the cost of this screener is worth about 14,400 US dollars per year. So we understand that this is way too expensive for many people out there, and this is the reason why we have decided to help you save costs by creating a list of super stocks so that you don't have to pay for the screener, and this list will be updated every quarter. So here it is, right? The super stocks shopping list, and this is going to be updated once every 2 to 3 months. Help you to narrow down to the best companies in the United States. We go through intensive screening, and these are companies with massive growth potential. So it's going to be in the format of a Excel file, right? So in the file, there's this company called Pontera. We actually started discussing it in the 16th August 2020, and since then, this company has gone up by 76%. On top of Pontera, we have companies like Digital Turbine, the one that Terence has talked about, Zymer Scientific, Trade Desk as well. These are all incredible companies. So many investors usually complain that they don't have good companies to invest in, right? But over here in the masterclass, there's another kind of complaint, but this is a good complaint. The complaint is having too many opportunities. So Tekai says that the problem with our masterclass is too many good companies to invest. Wilfred says the same thing. Dr. Paul Ang also say the same thing. Too many good companies don't have enough cash to buy the companies, all right? So what you're going to get is Growth Investing Live Masterclass, the Growth Profit Calculator, the shopping list as well, the Superstocks shopping list, right? But on top of that, we also want to give you a community, which is the access to the Facebook group, right? You need assurance, you need someone to check on your valuation work, and that's what we're going to deliver through our Facebook group, a place for you to grow, to ask questions, and that's where our senior members will actually reply and to guide you, to help you reach your goal faster. So just imagine you are starting out, what are likely mistakes that you're going to make? But what if you are in this investing community? You don't have to pay the tuition lessons when you learn from other people's mistakes, okay? So if you're a finance person, you might be thinking whether you could learn more from this masterclass. I want to share with you this. I'm pretty amazed because we do not just have doctors, national athletes, or stay-home mom. We also have chief investment officers who are in our community. And let's hear from one of them who is actually a CFO, right? So I'm going to play this video.
And then I was also with the financial institution as one of the directors. And I actually heard about Jim. And I was like, what is it that these guys know that I do not know? So I'm like, okay, I think I know a lot. But then when I joined Jim last November, I realized that, oh, there's actually so much more that I can learn from these guys. In fact, it was just about a week ago. I realized that I actually surpassed the goal that I set for myself. And that was like maybe just about 10 months. So the thing is, exploit the opportunity. Okay? Fellowship with them. You will get more than you can imagine.
All right, so that is Ruth, and I can tell you there's a lot of value that you don't see that I cannot possibly share with you. But our heart's here to serve. So this is Ruth and her results that she has so far. So what you're going to get is a Growth Investing Live Masterclass, the calculator, the Superstocks shopping list, access to the Facebook group. And I'll share with you this story about Wallace, right? Where he first came to us, he was struggling to get results. But what struck my heart was that Wallace was 26 years old and he was a nurse. I don't know about you, but I feel that nurses are silent heroes and it's an occupation that's often underpaid, and we really wanted to help him. So even though Wallace did not have any finance background, he didn't let that or his past struggles stop him from striving a better life. So recently he shared in the community chat that he's achieved three multi-baggers after joining the community. And every day without fail, I can tell you he will keep learning even though he's busy at work. And so this shows that even if you are busy, you work long hours like Wallace, as long as you put your heart to it and you know that investing is important, you can succeed. So if all that this did was to help you master investing once and for all, would it be worth it, right? Or if it helps you to shorten your retirement by years, spend more time with your family and travel the world, would it be worth it? Or finally, right, prevent you from making huge losses in the stock market, would it be worth it? There are people who lose $1,000, $2,000 in the stock market just because they do not know what they are doing, just because they just invest because they feel like it, right? It's an emotional decision. So ultimately, I cannot answer for you, but only you can answer it for yourself, okay? So I had two choices. The option number one is to price this as cheap as possible, but this does not allow me to get a team of people to actually help you, to support you, and this will affect the success rate of the entire community. But in exchange for a little bit more money, if you're able to put the people, the resources into maximizing your success, I believe that is the way that I should want to pursue, right? So ultimately, I had to choose, and I chose for the second choice, okay? And these are the profits that the community has made. So over here, this Ramlan Paris had made about 40% since he had joined. This Xia Chen made about 84%. This is Daryl. Daryl is an actress. Some of you may have seen her on TV before. There's a lot more as well. So this is Marcus. Marcus, when he first joined us, the first batch of student, incredible person, working hard as well, very busy. But since then, his portfolio has up about 40%, and I feel really, really happy for him. So this is Marcus. So this is everything you'll get, all right? But on top of that, I also want to share with you some bonuses that I'll be delivering to you this afternoon. So one of the bonuses that I want to share with you is this Growth Investor Insider Guide. We understand that some of you may feel a bit lost even though the class pace was good. So because of that, we added additional resources, right? We created an idiot-proof 38-page guide. Everything inside that you need to know, right? Exact steps, right? That you need to know how to pull information from certain websites to complete your analysis in 15 minutes or 20 minutes. We all do that for you in this guide, right? So this is something that you cannot find anywhere. It's created by myself and Jonathan for everyone who participates in the masterclass. It covers everything, right? From fundamentals, management research, and valuation. This is like Holy Bible, right? it tells you everything that you need, all right? So it's going to be like that, 28-page for you guys. Also, we're going to share with you a full chart, right? Because every time when we decide when to buy, when to sell, we have a lot of emotions, we have a lot of questions. But when you take your emotion out of the picture, you do it systematically, you have a process, I can tell you, you will become better, right? So with this flow chart, you can take out the emotions and make better decisions for yourself. So while we have 15 years of combined experience, I can tell you we had a lot of learning mistakes, but we also had a lot of profits while investing. So we figured out that taking out emotions is so important, and it's often not talked about by many investors. So this is why we place everything we know about when to buy, when to sell into this flow chart, and hopefully it will benefit you, right? And you have more certainty and earn more profits in the stock market. And finally, right, full-time investor mastery pre-trading bonuses. Okay, I want to tell you, do you want to know what's the most important difference between a successful investor and a mediocre investor? What sets them apart? It isn't just the knowledge, it's the psychology of an investor, the mindset of an investor. If I can tell you, if knowledge is all that it requires, then the richest people on earth will be the Liberians. But you know how I wish someone taught me about the necessary mindset shifts I need to have. Then I would not have wasted my first few years investing, and I'll probably have a better starting line. So when it comes down to this, we want to give you the tips, the shifts, the strategies in the form of a pre-training videos so they can kick off with the right mentality towards your wealth building process. So what you're going to get is a live masterclass, the profit calculator, the Superstocks shopping list, Facebook access, growth investor guide, flow chart, and the full-time investor mindset mastery pre-training videos. So with a total value of $12,100. But we're going to offer to you at $697, which is an early bonus price, right? This is something that we want to do, and it's about $58 per month and $1.94 per day, right? So this is available to you at a price of $697, right? But let me put this into perspective. Many of us would probably buy expensive watches, clothes, or even enjoy expensive holidays once in a while. While those are nothing wrong, but what are the chances that spending on these items would make you financially free as compared to investing money to upgrade your own knowledge? There are some people who spend money on Starbucks every day, and it's about $8.60 per cup. But as compared to growth investing systems, which is about $1.94, I can tell you only one of these will make you money. And I also believe that, many of you have either paid tuition classes for your kids or you went for tuition classes before. And tuition classes will probably cost you $400 a month or about close to $3,000 or $4,000 for 12 months, right? So this is in Sing dollars. And, since the questions are coming in, I also want to share with you that we are going to make this so safe that it's totally risk-free. If you choose to be part of this masterclass and you implemented whatever we have taught you, you show us proof and you still do not get any result, you are covered by our money back guarantee. So I'm here to create a good product. I'm here to create a product that I'm proud of. And this is the reason why we put a lot of our heart and devotion into this so that you guys can see the results. All right? So I can tell you that we're going to hold you, we're going to guide you, we're going to identify all the growth companies, break it down. If you're investing alone, you're going to face a lot of problems, a lot of questions about which companies to buy, what price to sell, and how do you avoid all the mistakes that most investors make. It is not worth it, right? Not worth it to pay the tuition lessons in the stock market. We want you to get started on the right footing. We really want you to get started on the right footing. And because of that, right, this is $697. This is the early bird price, right? If today is the day that you decide this is the beginning on how you can become a good investor, go to the website, thefulltimeinvestor.com/start, or you can see the pop-up that is going to appear right now on your screen, right? You're going to get everything we share, the masterclass, the profit calculator, the flow charts, the extra bonuses. And this is a super early bird pricing. And this masterclass was previously not available to the public, okay? So at the end of the day, I can tell you there's a better path, all right, to learn how to become a better investor. But there's also another tougher part, which is you try to figure out yourself by watching YouTube videos, by reading articles, but that may not yield you the results that you want, okay? And I know and I can see there are a lot of questions that is coming in right now, okay? So before I answer those questions, all right, I want to give you guys some time to write your questions, and for that, I'm going to play a video right now, a video of the testimony, so that you know that this is something that works for not just myself, but also for many people. And after 5 to 6 minutes, I'll come back and I'll answer every single question until there are no questions left. All right? So with that, I'll see you guys in 5-6 minutes time. I'm going to play this video right now.
Hello, my name is Mitchell, and I'm currently an undergrad in one of the local universities in Singapore.
Hi everyone, my name is Jiong Yang, and I'm currently an undergraduate student.
So before joining gym, I was actually struggling with investing in my first stock, mainly because I do not know what to think. I do not know whether the price is right, is it too high or too low, and also because I heard of a lot of anecdotes of people entering the stock markets and losing a lot of money.
Prior to joining gym, I tried to pick up investing by reading investment books and investment articles online, but I felt like I wasn't making any headway.
Initially, I was skeptical about joining gym because how do we really get multi-baggers that quickly in a short span of time?
Choosing gym was an easy decision because I have attended a few free online webinars organized by Kelvin and Jim, and I could really feel their sincerity and passion in teaching and bringing value to people.
After joining, I had a few breakthroughs of my own in terms of evaluating in stocks and also in terms of my own decision-making framework. The trainers, Kelvin and Jonathan, they are people who are sincere and willing to help you. And there are people that really went the extra mile to ensure that the learning is understood by you.
And after signing up for gym, I was immediately granted access to a huge collection of resources and access to a very strong, vibrant community.
And this community is also something that you will not be able to find that easily. It is a community that is of very high quality, where everyone is trying their best to lift you up. If you are unsure, there's always someone who knows the answer or knows the perspective, sharing with you selflessly.
Honestly, I don't think any other workshops out there are able to offer such a strong support before and after the workshop. So investment is a lot less intimidating now, and even in times of uncertainty, I take comfort in the fact that I have a very strong and vibrant community to rely on.
And that is something that I really appreciate. If you want to get ahead, if you want to learn something that is relevant, you should really consider joining gym. If you're just looking for something that is theoretical, you could just continue to go to school. So that's all I have. Cheers.
So to those who are still contemplating on whether to join gym, I would say that this will be your first multi-bagger investment, and I really hope to see you in the community as well.
I'm Adeline Cole. I just enter lah.
I've been trying to do self-study. So when you do self-study, the problem is that there's a lot of information out there. And if you're doing it alone, you'll find that your personal experience is limited, so you wouldn't be able to sort of weight what is more important than others.
I did a lot of courses, and it was still ambiguous to which how I should really invest.
Technically, I'm not good in maths or good in whatever lah. My maths is actually the worst of my courses and my studies. So initially, I would say skeptical because it's more on my part of the anxiety, whether I can actually understand fully.
They actually simplify it for you to very layman terms.
Initially, I thought it would be pretty complex. You need to look at all the charts and graphs and all the numbers, which I am afraid of. But they actually deliver it very, very straightforward, straight to the point, simple. And also very open.
So the good thing about the gym framework is that they have taken a lot of this, for example, the metrics, the criteria, simplified to a few key ones, and also simplified the way information is sourced and researched. So it makes the process more consistent, faster, and more repeatable.
At least for a person that So scared with numbers can end up like so happy coming out, right? I think it shows something different.
I've known Kelvin Seetoh for about 1 or 2 years now. In terms of helping people around him, I think he's someone who is very happy to do that. Kelvin is very approachable. When you are learning investing, you want to be surrounded by people who are very sincere in sharing their personal experience.
Kelvin is a very approachable and friendly, humble person who takes his time out just to find out what problems you are having with learning investing. As of now, my portfolio is up 40%. I think the main difference between Dream and other courses out there, which I'll not name, is that they have a very practical and hands-on approach. It's very relatable, the examples they use, and it's very current. I have much more clarity about what I should look for in companies.
I'm definitely a bit more confident in terms of like understanding the whole thing.
Of course, I feel confident about achieving 20%, even 30% per annum in the future.
All right, guys, we are back and thank you for writing your questions. So let me just head on to it first. Okay, I actually have created some questions as well, that the ones that you guys will also ask, some common ones. So let me just go through it first. First question, right? Who are the trainers? The trainers will be myself, will be Jonathan as well. Together, both of us, we have about 10 years of experience. We are all leading this community. But again, to say that our experience, maybe 10 years, and I think more importantly is that the community that we are in, right? Jonathan and I, we have been trained together for a long time to come, and I think a lot of time as full-time investors, we spend our time researching companies. There's no other things that we do. In fact, in this community, we only run it once every 2 months, so we are actually very focused. We are also very current, and I think some of you may have been watching Jonathan's YouTube channel. You have been reading my blog as well. So that's a way whereby you can understand the kind of depth, the kind of knowledge that we have as well. For me, I appear on several business studies competition for NTU. I do a lot of blogging. I appear on panel discussions with investors overseas as well. So I can rest assured to you that we do not just created results for ourselves, but in our community, there's tremendous result as well. If you go to our pages, you can see the results that we have. If you go to our Instagram, we also detail down like the people that have achieved results as well. So just be rest assured, I think all of you will be very, very well under good hands as well. And I can share that during the bootcamp or masterclass, it will not just be me and John. We have a team of 10 people who are standby on Zoom, who are also qualified investors because they are here just to contribute. And that's how the journey started together with us as well. Okay, so be rest assured, I think on that part, there will be no issues. Second thing is that how long is the bootcamp? Okay, so the bootcamp is 3 days long. The Saturday, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Then the following weekend, Saturday to Sunday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. All right, and I can say that the masterclass is really the part where you get to learn a lot. And I think certain things that you have previously learned, you will unlearn it and learn new concepts as well. Okay, so this is the reason why the masterclass is conducted. I also start to see certain questions. I want to share with you that it's going to be highly interactive, so we require you to have your microphone, your webcam as well. We have a lot of breakout rooms as well. If you cannot make it on the dates, do not worry. You can come down. I mean, let's say COVID-19 is over, right? We may conduct it physically in our office. But if you do not want to attend physically, we also live stream all our events once every 2 to 3 months on our Facebook group as well. So on that part, you do not have to worry. On the part where you guys mentioned about recorded videos, so that's something that we are figuring out right now, because when we record videos, there'll be some people involved and there'll be some privacy issues, but we'll do what we can. And I think as long as we can deliver what you need in a way whereby it's acceptable, we can do whatever, we'll do whatever we want, right? So this is not, we are not a very restrictive community. In fact, whatever you want to learn, you have questions, you can type it in the Facebook group. I think we are more than happy to actually help you out with that. Okay. The third question is this: why should I join this program? Okay. This question is only one where you can answer yourself, but maybe I'll just add my perspective. I think habits are quite hard to change. Honestly, all of you could leave the webinar right now and enjoy the rest of the day. But see, why are you not doing that? Because if you leave right now, you might think you have learned a lot, and the truth is that you have learned a lot. But my guess is that by tomorrow, you will slip back into your normal routine, right? It is not normal for people to be spending 1 hour a week, 2 hours a week to be reading up investing. It's not normal for people to take their money and invest in the stock market, especially in the United States. It is not like even the fact that you're attending this webinar, right, is not normal, right? Because that's not what most people do. Most people rather spend their time sleeping, resting, doing other things, right? But the fact that you join this webinar, you represent maybe the top 20% of Singapore, right? Or Malaysia, right? And I want to be sure that you are going to be successful by breaking the old habits. That means devoting your time to learn how to invest and how to identify super stocks. So if you want real lasting change, you need repeated exposure to the full system. And that's what you get when you invest today, right? Being part of the community, seeing the engagement and seeing the conversation happening in your Facebook group. That will actually stir your heart. That will actually prompt you to take action as well, okay? So common question, what if you cannot attend the virtual bootcamp? Again, don't worry, we have all of you covered. That's why we have the streaming, we have the recorded videos, the unlimited receipts as well. And if you need clarification, I think we are also happy to provide that as well. Yeah, so I think on that part, nothing to worry. Second question is, no, this is the last question that I prepared before I move on to all of the questions. How are you different from the rest? Honestly speaking, when I first started out this community, I just wanted to help people, right? Full stop. I just wanted to help people. So I was focusing a lot about how we can help our members get the results. And that's all that we did, right? But the fact that now that we have grown about 500 people, these are the questions that kept popping up, right? So I honestly cannot tell you that I have an answer. But all I can say is that over here, we are more of a caring community. Over here, we tend to be practitioners. You can see that we do not run a lot of Facebook ads heavily every single day, right? It's only the days where we have our masterclass, right? On the days where we don't have masterclass, we do not run ads because we are focusing on researching our company. So we do the quiet work so that we can deliver results. And we hope to continue this spirit, this culture, and we treat this very seriously, all right? So in a way, I can say that when you join the Growth Investing Masterclass, you are joining a community of investors, and we're the only course providers in Asia that teaches growth investing, and the only one that's managed by a team of full-time investors, and we have proven results from several of our members. So really just rest assured that your investing journey will be well guided by our team. Okay, let's come back to the questions that we see on the chat box, all right? Okay, so Valerie, if you missed the date and timing, let me just flash the date and timing again for all of you. Let me just go back, all right? So the date and timing, right, here you go. There's a lot of slides here, but let me just go back. So this is the date and timing for Valerie. Okay, Zhi Yong asked, do we teach options? Personally, I invest in options. I'm aware of options, and I spend a lot of time reading about options. But I do think that at the end of the day, it's a very common Singaporean or Malaysian mentality is that you want to learn as much as possible, right? You want the quantity. But the truth is that if you can't master growth investing, you can't master super stocks, then even if we teach options, that could make things even more complex, right? So over here, we choose to be specialized, we choose to be very niche, we choose to be known for what we do, and that's delivering results. So surely, I think we can teach options, but is this going to help investors, or is it going to be harm investors? Because option is actually a leverage tool, and I do believe that it's important that you master the foundations, and this is what we are going to teach, and we're going to focus on our growth investing masterclass. Okay, Ufi, yeah, Sing dollars. Yeah, this is priced in Sing dollars. Alan asked, can we use our Skills Future credit? Okay, We are working on that currently. I think if we can, we will announce. But I also can share that under Skills Future, there are a lot of useful programs that you can reserve your credits for, right? Over here, this is not Skills Futures under the list yet, but we are trying to get into the list, okay? Is this open for Singaporeans only? Absolutely not. In our community, we have Americans who actually did not attend the masterclass, but they watched all the recordings. We have people from Hong Kong, Malaysia, Singapore as well. Manson asked, do we have any other dates? Yes, we do. Manson, give us an email and we will actually send you the other dates as well, okay? Is this a lifetime membership? Ivan, for the Facebook group, yes, it's actually a lifetime membership. You can stay there however long you want. YK, we are focusing on US stocks. Again, I can share with you that how I wish that I've invested in US stocks earlier on, because I was stuck in Singapore, and Singapore has very limited opportunities for business to grow. And I think it's really, really important that, hey, if you are attending a masterclass, and the fact that I'm teaching you about Singapore companies, I think I'll feel embarrassed, and I feel that this is not what I want to do. I want to teach you how to find the best companies time, right? I may be a bit blunt, but I'm just sharing with you because having invested for 10 years, I just tell you how it is like without sugarcoating my words. The fact is that you can find way better companies in the United States as well, okay? Yeah. Okay, so another question, is this course via Zoom? Yes, this is via Zoom. So you might worry whether there's fatigue, right? Because you're staring at a screen like so frequently. But do not worry, we actually give you frequent breaks. We have been conducting this for quite some time, right? We actually receive feedbacks. So there'll be ample breaks, lunch timings. We also let you know as well, so you can prepare it and stretch, right? Learning requires energy, right? So if all of you are not feeling the energy, then that means we are not doing a good job. So it is our job to ensure that you have good experience, and we have refined the program really, really well, okay? Mary, can this calculator be used on iPad or only on laptop? Okay, so this calculator is an Excel, but we also have an online version on Google Sheets. So as long as your iPad or laptop can open Excel, that'll be absolutely fine. All right, that'll be absolutely fine. So there's no issue on that. Okay, let's move on. Are you selling all of your knowledge here, or are you going to sell another course inside this course? So that is a question that's asked by Alvin, okay? So Alvin, just want to give you a background story. In the past, what we did was we offered everything that we have into this program, right? And obviously, I can tell you the program actually costed way, way higher than the price it is today, 697, right? So over here, what we did is that we actually pushed quite a reasonable amount of content, and the strategy, the framework is all inside this program. But I would say during the program, we will also share an opportunity for people who wants to be more serious, who wants to have direct, super direct access to us and to see what we do and to have like close mastermind sessions. There's an opportunity for people to go on a higher plan. But in the price difference, I don't think it's as big as it is, because you see, when we sell the program to people, some of them will say, oh, the price is too high, right? But we feel that sometimes what we share here is really, really good stuff. And if the price is too high, it may actually deter people from actually coming for the program. And we thought about it, we say, then it's going to be unfair to them, right? So this is the part whereby we say, hey, why don't we have a 697 program whereby we give a lot of things that we have here that we think that we can deliver way more value than the price that you are paying today. And we feel that in our conscience, we actually feel comfortable with that, because we want to ensure that people get a good value for the price that we pay. So in short, I think I want to tell you very upfront that there's another higher tier costs that you can consider. But again, it's not optional, right? Over here, what we do, we want to share with you the options that you may have and for you to make considerations as well, okay? So Jessica, are the questions recorded? Yes, Jessica, the questions are, the lessons are recorded, all right? So David, the 697 are for both days, right? 21 November, 28, 29 November as well. So Chu, this is the Facebook group is a lifetime access. K, how many stocks do I usually hold in my portfolio? I'm stating this out, but I hope that you guys do not follow me. I actually hold about 5 stocks right now, right? I don't hold anything more than that because I spend my time, I develop my conviction, I meet the management teams, I call them, I talk to them. That's how I form my conviction. But for most people, I would consider that, hey, 8 to 9 stocks, 10 stocks even would be a comfortable amount for you to start as well, okay? So Delphine asked any other dates. Okay, Delphine, just email us. We'll send you other dates that we may have, all right? Manson, recording, yes, absolutely, yes, got recording. Ziyong asked what's the difference between value investing and growth investing. Okay, this one is very simple. Okay, let me just turn off my screen. Okay, okay. So Ziyong, I just want to explain to you, right? Value investing is a part whereby, let's say this company, the intrinsic value is about $1, right? This company is intrinsic value $1. You try to buy the company at 50 cents, right? So the max that you make is about 50 cents, all right? So you buy a company at $1. The value of the company is $1, right? But you are trying to buy it at 50 cents, so you can make 50 cents gains over here. But for growth investing, we are looking at companies that is worth $1 today, potentially can worth about $10 in the future, okay? And we are willing to pay $1 because the growth potential is huge, right? So we are looking at companies called Superstocks. We are looking at companies called multi-baggers, right? So it's going to be very different from value investing. And I can tell you, that's how I actually changed my strategy because I realized that is truly something that worked. Because even if you look at the business that Warren Buffett was investing back then, one of the famous business that he bought is called Geico, right? And the reason why he bought Geico because Geico was a fast-growing company, right? But today, you look at the companies he's investing in, Apple, you look at Apple's revenue growth, you look at the earnings growth, they are not very impressive. But these are companies that are huge but stagnant because Warren Buffett's wealth have already grown so huge, okay? Back to the example, right, Andrew, right? If the company dropped by 50% because of recession, how would you know that the revenue will continue to grow? Okay, Andrew, this question, right, is actually very simple. We will also touch a little bit about this in the program. So for example, right, Andrew, there are things that you can use such as Google Trends. There are things that you can use such as site visits. There are things that where you can see like if Apple has certain suppliers, right? If the suppliers are already telling you that they're expecting higher orders, there are ways where you can tell whether the business is growing, right? So this is what we share in our masterclass as well. Jared, what is the last date to sign up for the course at 697? I think the last date to sign up is where we have no more slots left, right? So I'm not trying to create a scarcity effect here, but I feel that the moment if the course is fully sold out, then there'll be no more, right? You have to wait for the next session as well because it's not about packing people into the room. It's about ensuring that people have the right knowledge to grow, okay? So also once coronavirus is over, can we attend the usual class you conduct at your office? Yes, sure, okay? Abu asked if it's Zoom, how does the practical part works? Abu, can you maybe elaborate more about what you mean by the practical part? Because I really want to understand what you're saying, okay? Jason asked, no cost or staff cross-sell, upsell. Okay, I wouldn't call it upsell, but it's an option for you to consider, and we'll share more during the program as well. But I can tell you for this price, 697, I do believe that you guys are getting a very, very good deal because this is an early price. Okay, YK asked any option strategy. The fact is that we can share about options. I do options as well. But is this the best cost? Is this going to be useful for you, all of you at this juncture? I may not feel so. I feel that if all of you can understand about the foundation of Superstocks for what I am doing, right? It's like, you go to a store, right? A store sells 5 different dishes. Can the person be equally good at 5 different dishes? Or would you rather to go to a place where the person only sells like char kway teow or carrot cake and be a master at it, right? So what you're going to get at the end of the day, it's not about quantity, right? We tend to focus so much on quantity, but hey guys, it's about the quality of your learning. It's about the depth of the content that you're actually getting, okay? Evelyn, so 697 is for lifetime Facebook access, any regular webinar for further guidance. So there'll be ad hoc webinars, but your questions can be asked on the Facebook group as well. Okay, Charmaine, Charmaine, I can tell you that your question is, are stocks you bought always in profit, any loss experience? Surely there'll be loss experiences, but over time, as I get better, as I spend more time with my community members, as I spend time with more overseas investors, I can tell you this year I have not made any losses in any stocks, but would I make mistakes in the future? I think absolutely yes. So there's this thing called a betting average. If out of 10 companies, right, if you do just mathematically, right, if you buy 10 companies and 6 of them do very well and 4 of them don't do well. So even with the fact that out of 10 companies, 4 of them don't do well, I can tell you something, your portfolio will still be making more than 20% returns, right? If you do the math, it will work out that way as well, okay? So Charmaine, I just want to share with you what I do here does not involve charts, all right? It's all logical, rationale steps, right? So we don't involve charts in this program. Jessica, yes, you can attend the classes over and over again. Delphine, if you really convinced that you want to come for the program, you want to pay first and then find out whether we have alternative dates. I will not stop you from doing that. Delphine, I just want to tell you that, and I just want to tell everyone, if you are signing up right now, I want you to make an informed decision. I do not want you to sign up for impulse, right? Over here, I can tell you, I'm not here to offer you stock tips. I can do that, but I'm here to give you a grounded approach on how you can select good companies, all right, to develop confidence in you, right? Because at the end of the day, I get so frustrated when at the end of the day, people still do not know anything and they just keep relying on stock tips. When the stock price drop, they are fearful, right? So my aim is to teach you what I'm doing, what have helped me to generate my returns, and the mindset and the psychology of it. I think that's the part where it will really help a lot of you. All right. Chun Eat, right? You talked about the previous package, 2997. Okay, if you want to know the difference, you email us. We actually will let you know the difference as well. Okay. All right, Darius, all right, thanks. All right, I think it's very important to be open for all of you. Chu Chong asks, is it safe to invest in OTC? I think in any, okay, so this one I can tell you is safe. At the end of the day, all stock exchanges are safe. But what is not safe is if you buy companies that have, a lot of debt, they don't have cash flow, they don't have revenue, they don't have profit. I think it's very dangerous. If you buy the companies that have bad management, I can tell you it's very risky as well. Okay, I will answer more questions, but I also want to share with you that there are other people who also in our community have made results. This is made about 46%. This is Daniel, made about 30%. This is Anna. I think she's shared that even after the bloodbath, she realized that even after dropping, the last 6 months or so, her gains in the stock market was equal to 9 to 10 months of her salary. Okay, and I'll be answering your questions, but I want to share with you that you can also WhatsApp your questions to this number. A lot of questions are coming to me privately. I want you to take this photo because this webinar may be cut off. This is a special phone number. You can send me your questions privately because, if you see value in this program, but you have some internal blocks, certain questions, I have a team that's super qualified to guide you. But I want to share this, even if you do not sign up today, it is okay. Perhaps, sometime in the future, you may want to consider learning how to invest. But what's most important is that, if you have a false belief, you have an uncertainty, you have certain questions that is preventing you from making this powerful decision, I want you to WhatsApp me, all right? WhatsApp me because I'd rather clear that so that I know that I have really helped you and I've cleared all your doubts, and at the end of the day, I'm here to serve you. That's really important, okay? But if you are still on the fence, I want you to consider because this is an early bird pricing at 697. And remember, there's no risk and we have a money back guarantee over here. And the only way for you to know whether this works for you is to really get started right now. So we really have people from all walks of life, right? Healthcare workers, students, military personnel, stay-home moms, high-level executives, and many more. And this can work for anyone as long as you are willing to learn. Okay? Ivan, yes, the Superstocks list will be shared as long as you're members. Let's see. Do we invest in IPO stocks? No. Technical analysis, we don't teach that as well. Okay. So those of you who are referred by existing members, do send us an email. Okay. Let us know as well so that we know that it's being referred. So most of the shares are micro caps, KRs. Yeah, we do have quite a bit of micro caps, but there are some companies that are big, but their revenue is growing at 80%. It's considered super stocks as well. Okay. Okay. So I just want to tell you that I know that there are many more questions coming in, but here's the number. You can message me. We have seen lives being changed. We devote a lot of time and attention to make things happen for you guys. You know, sometimes when I make profit, I feel happy, but you know, my greatest joy is to really help more investors like you make more money, right? This could be a good possibility for you in your future to learn how to invest. So if you've been shying away from investing, that's understandable. Many people are like that too. But do you want to shy away from investing for all your life? Or do you want to conquer your fears, right? What is the pain of staying where you are today versus learning new things? You don't want to look back 10 years and say, oh, you know, I should have done that. You know, I should have learned investing, because I can tell you in life, we will have a lot of regrets. And one of it is that, you know, money is such that when you learn in your young age, it compounds, it grows, and you are able to enjoy financial freedom earlier. And I don't believe there's an age limit. It's about your beliefs, about your mindset, and how much you are keen to learn. So again, if you're here wanting to get stock tips, anyone can give you stock tips. And I don't believe that's the best way I can help you, you know. But how I believe I can help you is to give you a framework, the systems, the understanding to tell you, oh, why this company is good, why this price is attractive. And if you believe in truly learning a proper framework, not just getting stock tips, I believe Growth Investing Masterclass will fulfill what you're seeking for, right? We are a group of people who are unafraid of challenges. We are open-minded. We are curious. We are generous. So that's a community.